let's talk about this first. I saw a message um last night in the in the chat room from Lee Iovino, who is was formerly, I guess, with We Are Change Chicago, and they'd been posting all of these different clips of the show in video format up on YouTube, and some of them had been getting thousands of hits. And I mean, some of the stuff these guys have been posting were getting more views and more hits than some of my films that I've had, some of my own films and some of my own work that I've had out there. Some of these clips are getting more hits than that, and they were really, really starting to have a big effect. And I got a message last night in the chat room that said that We Are Change, the entire We Are Change group, including the founding chapter of We Are Change in New York, with Luke Radowski, were contacted by Alex Jones and told that if they did not take down my clips that I have my show and the things that I discussed about Alex Jones, that Alex Jones was going to withdraw all support for all We Are Change chapters nationwide. Wow. Well, number one, if you listen to the clip, specifically the last one that I made, I want to be sure, I want to make this clear as well. We need to get that clip back up. I mean, if this clip had, I mean, it had over I know it was well over 1,000 views, just over a couple days it was up. I only did that. That was from the Moonbat show that we did Thursday night, September 30th. So if you want to hear the clip in question, the clip that was taken down, it was a clip entitled Alex Jones and Trauma-Based Mind Control. I personally felt that that clip and the things that I described in that show on Thursday were probably some of the most cogent and well-spoken and really not non-hateful, and really just laying out the facts for people to decide for themselves what's what, that I've probably ever done on the subject of Mr. Alex Jones. You'll notice if you go and listen to some of these shows, I'm in no way, shape, or form hating on him in any way. I'm in no shape or form putting out any hate or ill will towards Mr. Jones in any way. I'm simply pointing out the facts, such as the things about the Charlie Sheen interview and how they told people for 2 days it was real, and how the New World Order and the elite at large use trauma-based mind control to get their agendas achieved. They do things like traumatizing people with events like 9/11 to the point where they give up everything and all of their rights to the all-powerful one world entity. And I described how Alex Jones does the same thing with his listeners by telling them that the end is near, the sky is falling every single day, and that the only recourse for this is to buy weapons and buy high-quality copies of his DVDs and pass them out. And he basically traumatizes people. He does. I've been traumatized by him personally, is the only reason that I know, and so is my sister, and so is a bunch of other people I know. And I know people currently who are being traumatized by him and his message and what he puts out. And so, I'm going by experience here. I've talked to many of you in the chat room, many of you, hundreds of you who have told me that, who have thanked me for my show and what I do, because, you don't feel traumatized and you don't feel freaked out and like the end of the world's going to happen tomorrow when you listen to the show, and that you're more calm and more you're more rational thinking than you used to be. And so those statements that I made on that show Thursday night were based on my personal experiences that I have experienced, that from being a listener of Alex Jones for years, what other people I know have experienced, what you, the listeners out there, have experienced. That if you go and listen to that, there was nothing in any way, shape, or form in that recording that would have been in any way, shape, or form seen as hating. So anyway, Alex Jones contacted We Are Change and Luke Radowski and told them that they had to take the video clips of mine down. I think we need to get that video clip. I think we need to get that audio clip back up on YouTube somehow, some way. If Lee Iovino, if you're out there and you're from We Are Change and you want to put that up on another YouTube channel, or you want to upload it to filehosting.org and let me grab it, and I'll put it up on my on my YouTube channel, whatever. But I think with the amount of hits that sucker got in the short amount of time it was up there, and the response that it got, obviously, from the Jones camp and from him threatening to withdraw all support for all We Are Change groups, it makes pretty clear what it is. And um, people are starting to figure this out, and people are starting to figure out what's going on. These people are getting hurt, and again, it's not about free speech to these people. Don't think that when they get up there and talk about free speech and the First Amendment and the Constitution, that's really what they believe. Because if you believe in the free speech and the Constitution and everything else, then I don't go after. I don't start going after people that make websites or videos and clips and bullshit about me. They say all manner of things. I talked about that on Thursday night on that clip. People say all manner of things about me for things that I talk about that are provable. I mean, but you don't see me wanting to go around shutting those people down. They have the freedom to say whatever they want to say about me. It doesn't necessarily make it true. But I want to read this email from you. It says, "Hey, Josh, I really enjoy posting video clips of your show on the We Are Change Chicago YouTube channel. But over the past few days, they have caused a great deal of drama, and I've been asked to take them down. Apparently, Alex Jones has spoken with Luke Rudkowski about it and told him to take them down, or he won't promote anything by We Are Change again because of all the quote-unquote infiltrators. Normally, I wouldn't give a shit about a bunch of dumb patriots, but I think Luke is a good guy, and I don't want to ruin the organization that he started. Obviously, there's a lot of hypocrisy about all this, but I grew out of We Are Change a while ago, so I don't really care what their members want to believe. But if these people want to keep following Alex Jones, so be it. A couple of clips about you calling out Alex Jones were already deleted, but I don't see why I have to delete the ones that don't even mention the Patriot Truth Movement. Luke Rudkowski does not want anything of yours on We Are Change because he says you've talked shit about him in the past. I'm not sure what you think of Luke Rudkowski, but I've met him a few times, and I think he has good intentions. Maybe you could clear things up with him. If not, they're going to delete all the Global Reality Show clips. And you know what? Go on and do it then. Go on and do it. If that's what you feel you have to do, if that's what you feel getting the truth out is not allowing all voices to be heard, then that's going to expose what we're all going to know, what you're about and what We Are Change is about and what Luke Rudkowski's about and what Alex Jones is about, and that's okay. As far as addressing the issue of me talking shit about Luke Rudkowski, I've never talked shit about Luke Rudkowski, although the only time I've ever addressed him, well, actually, I interviewed him back when I first started my show in 2007. But the only thing that I ever said about him, and I guess maybe you could call this shit talk. But I have a really good memory, and I can always remember who I've said what I've said about who. And I'll tell you this, the one thing I've always said about him, and I don't remember when I said this, it was a while back, but I will stand by this because it's video evidence. I called him a narc because there's a video clip where I think it's one of the no planers, Nico or one of those guys, I don't know, one of the no planers, they're doing some street action, and the no planers show up and start trying to get out some information about no planes. Now, I'm not a no planer myself, but I do support their right to talk about that information if they want to talk about that, because again, you or me or anybody else doesn't have all the answers for 9/11. So to me, no planes or space beams or any of that other stuff is just as plausible to me as thermite, explosives, whatever else. It's no more implausible than the official story. But that's not even the point. The point of the matter is, and you can go watch this video clip. I'm sure somebody out there listening will put this in the chat room. I know Super Dave was the one that showed it to me. But there's a clip from some street action in New York, and there's no planers there. And Luke Rudkowski starts calling the cops over. And starts calling the goddamn cops over because there's a no planer there. And yes, I called that out. And yes, I said that was horseshit on my show. But that's the only thing negative I've ever said about Luke Rudkowski, and I don't even know how you can qualify that as shit talking when all I'm doing is pointing out what's on video. That's shit talking? I've never said anything. I have, okay, I guess I have said that, he's a minion of Alex Jones, and he's being led around, and basically led around and controlled by Alex Jones, which I guess is, that should be pretty obvious to anybody that's actually looked at this stuff. But either way, regardless of that, I've talked shit about him, so he doesn't want to have my videos. No, it doesn't even have anything. That's not even the point. The point of the matter is that these people know that their heroes and their little fucking cult of personality deities are being exposed. That's the whole thing. And that's what's amazing about me and amazing about the stuff that I talk about when they cannot stand when I talk about when I address things about the phony patriot movement and Alex Jones and the John Birch Society and the Jesuit order and the sovereign military order of Malta and the Vatican control and how the religious hierarchy controls even the bankers. I mean, come on, Luke. I mean, you're Polish, right? Isn't Luke Radowski a Polish Jew? I mean, why don't you look in your family history and look up in the Encyclopedia Judaica that I'm sure one of your Polish family members has and find out what it says about the Rothschilds, that they're the guardians of the Vatican's treasury. Why don't you find out about that, Bubba, and then go ask Mr. Jones what he thinks about it. He'll probably tell you it's a psyop. Don't get mad at me because I'm bringing up the real information that these other guys are not going to talk about because they're controlled by the entities that they won't talk about. You see how that works? I mean, you think it's a coincidence that the information they won't talk about just happens to be the same people that they are associating with? Come on now, wake up. But the fact of the matter is that in those discussions and the things that I talked about, most of the time, because you have all these people that just make up wild shit about Alex Jones, and they make up stuff and say that he's controlled by ABC and all this other ridiculous stuff, or that he's some Zionist and all this, when he has more connections to the priest class through his association with the John Birch Society and the Jesuit order, the Sheen Jesuit family, of course, Hutton Gibson, Mel Gibson's father, who he's had on his show several times, and he talks about how he's friends with the Gibson family. Hutton Gibson was a former Jesuit priest. Pat Buchanan, who Alex Jones worked on his campaign for in 1996, was Jesuit trained. We have that clip where ABC News, where Peter Jennings admits, where they say, Buchanan was trained by the Jesuits. And just on and on and on and on and on with connections to the Jesuit order and the rest of this stuff. And of course, we know that Zionism, like Judaism or Islam or Christianity or Catholicism or anything else, is but another one of the ideologies like communism and socialism that has been funded and propagated by the priest class via the Central European bankers. And so Zionism and Judaism and Catholicism and all that stuff are really all in the same thing. But there's all these people that say, "Oh, Jones is a Zionist." Well, to me, though, that's another level of gatekeeping, because they're also covering up for the same people Alex Jones are, although appearing to expose him. And so when you listen to the things that I've talked about on my show and regarding Alex Jones, you won't hear, and again, I've gone on record many times and said that personally, I don't have anything against Alex Jones. I don't hate him. I don't wish any ill will towards him. I mean, I think Bill Cooper was a lot nastier in the things that he said about Alex Jones probably than I have ever been. But the fact of the matter is, there's people there, everybody out there is buying into yet another box and being led down another rat hole by these people. And it's amazing to see the hypocritical bullshit that now the We Are Change groups and Luke Radowski and the rest, you're a bunch of pathetic, cock-sucking little hypocrites. How's that for being nice? I never would even say that about Alex Jones, but you guys are a bunch of cock-sucking little hypocrites. I got to tell you what. You can't handle it when somebody comes along with some real, because again, they can't refute the information. It's never that. It's always, I'm going to take your video down. I'm going to kick you off my network. I'm going to call your sponsors and tell them not to sponsor you. I'm going to call you COINTELPRO. I'm going to say this about you. I'm going to call you an infiltrator. But never, ever, ever, ever do they ever address the real issues and the real questions we have. Notice how they never, ever, ever address the connections to the Jesuits. and the connection to the multitude of guests that Alex Jones has had on through the years, and the multitude of connections he has to the John Birch Society. Every head of the John Birch Society has been Jesuit trained. How come everybody that's ever come on his show out about 9/11 has been a Catholic? Can we ask that question? I'd like an answer.